It is Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock, time for Toy Tuesday. We are live on YouTube, so we're going to give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications, get on with us, and then we will get into some cool memorabilia tonight from an auction that I went to last weekend. All right, got a few people jumping on with us, so probably have a few more coming on here shortly, but we'll go ahead and get rolling tonight. Last weekend, there was an auction here in Great Bend for Sanko Service Center. One of those deals almost kind of bittersweet. Place has been there for as long as I can remember, longer than I've been around for sure. Been there since the early 60s. Kevin's on with us. Glad you made it, Kevin. Sanko service had been in Great Bend, Kansas since about 63, and it was actually a service station prior to that, prior to the Sanko family buying it. Known a lot of the Sankos for a really long time. You know, Pitt State guys, went through the Pitt State Auto Tech program like I did, and finally decided that the last boy that was running it decided it was time for him to retire, and they had an auction last weekend. So one of those deals where, you know, it's like I said, kind of bittersweet. It's a local icon, you know, been around for almost 60 years. Was a Texaco station when they bought it in the early 60s, had been a Texaco station since about 56. They stayed with Texaco up into the 70s when they switched to Conoco. So, and they still did repairs all the way up until recently when they decided to shut the shop down. But not a ton of stuff left from over the years, but still ended up with some cool pieces. And glad we were able to add some stuff to our collection from a local establishment that, like I said, was with Texaco for several years, dating clear back into the 50s, and then Conoco in the 70s on up until they quit selling fuel several years ago and went strictly to a repair shop probably 10 years ago. So, but anyway, we picked up some cool stuff. We've got some stuff tonight, and then we're gonna have a few more things next week. Randy's on with us. Glad you made it. But anyway, let's check out some stuff. Chris is on. Glad you made it, Chris. Old School's on. Got a good crowd jumping on. So let's get into some of this stuff from the Sanko service station auction from last weekend. Obviously got a few oil cans and a few other things. David W's on. Glad you made it, David. But let's flip the phone around and start checking out some cans, some bottles, and some cool small stuff this week. Next week, I got one big sign, one really cool big sign that we'll check out, and as well as a couple of other small pieces we'll catch next week. So we'll flip around. We'll start off with some oil cans here. Got one more sitting over here off to the side. Lee's on. Glad you made it, Lee. But we'll start off with cans. I mean, obviously, it was a service station for years. There's going to be oil cans. You know, old Texaco Haviland. This one's a metal one. Randy's on. Glad you made it, Randy. And another little bit newer, similar type can, newer star on it versus the old Texaco badge there. But similar type cans, just little, one's a little bit newer than the other. Robert's on. Glad you made it. So a couple of Texaco pieces there. This is kind of a different can. Not really sure. Don't know much about this one. Vita Power Specialized Lubricant Can. Old School's got the Quaker State. We haven't even gotten to that one yet. This was like a 1 pound grease can. Something a little bit different. Automobiles, trucks, and tractors. Here's the Quaker State. This is a metal Quaker State. The big Q, obviously the iconic green and white for Quaker State. William's on with us. Glad you made it. And some Pennzoil cans. 4 of these Pennzoil cans. Mick's on with us. Happy Tuesday night to you and everybody else, Mick. 4 of these Pennzoil cans. Obviously the iconic bright yellow with the Liberty Bell Pennzoil cans. Now, all you guys know what happens if there's 4 cans here. That means somebody's going to win one of these on Sunday Night Live Chat. One of these Pennzoil cans is going to go out to one of our lucky winners here sometime in the near future. A couple of other pieces that were a little bit different that were up on the shelf with these oil cans were a few of these bottles. Radicool, radiators and blocks, dissolves rust, scale, lime, suspends grease and sludge. So obviously cooling system treatment. And this is something I had not seen. A lot of us are familiar with Rizlone, but I've never seen Rizlone in a glass jar. Obviously, some of the lettering is worn off of this, but an actual glass Rizlone bottle. Thought that was kind of different as well. Something else there, this isn't oil related, but this was a pop bottle from the Great Bend Bottling Company. Once again, a local piece and super cool. So Let's see. Old School says, can you ship full oil cans across the border? Is it hazardous material? I don't know. Old School, I always drain them. So I don't ship any full cans anyway. So I get them drained so they're not near as heavy and there isn't any issues with, hazardous material. Ironhead's on with us. So like I said, I think these these are all full. So I will drain one of those before I send it off to somebody. Something else I thought was cool. Old School, do I have any R12 AC cans? I don't think I do. I don't think it's just something I never ever really kept. But something else cool, especially coming from a Texaco station, is this box right here. Still has the original label on it. Texaco, the quality line, quantity 12, miniature lamp, upper beam headlamp for the 4 headlamp system. So, still got the original label in the original box. Not quite full, but mostly full of original Texaco headlights. So, once again, the headlights aren't a big deal, but the original boxes in the original case is something that I thought was pretty cool. I think there's about 10 of them in here. So, yeah, there's 10 of them there. They used 2 of them out of that case at some point in the life of the service station, and these never got used. So Old School digs them too. Was pretty excited about this. Like I said, some of this stuff isn't that exciting, isn't that valuable, but still cool to find a case of original Texaco headlights in the Texaco box, in the original shipping box, was kind of a neat deal. So, and actually, the lights could even still be used. I'm sure they're all brand new, and save the boxes, but kind of something different. That flap hasn't even been pulled back. It's still glued from the factory. So something else that was kind of a neat piece. A couple other small pieces we got at the auction this weekend. Map racks. Conoco. This one is a plastic one. Probably 70s era, I'm guessing. Still has some maps in them. Jim likes the headlights too. That's why we grabbed them. This one is, like I said, it's still probably 70s. It's kind of yellowed plastic, in good condition. It's not broke up. That's right. Old School says a lot of that stuff got tossed in the trash years ago. Fortunately, this didn't. And we've still got them here in the original box. So to me, that was exciting. And I actually didn't even see this label when I bought it. They had the flap open like that when I bought them and didn't even realize it still had the actual shipping label on it. So was even more excited after I realized that was on there as well. So we had the Conoco Map Rack, still has maps in it. The last piece we're going to look at tonight is a piece that my daughter and I have actually been after for a really long time and was really excited to get this. The Texaco Touring Service Map Rack. Like Old School says, yeah, we're nerds. We're nerds for this stuff, that's for sure. And I am absolutely horrible about it. But this Texaco Touring Service Map Rack is one that my daughter and I have been after for a long time. We've seen a few, have never been able to get one bought. Has some Rand McNally maps in them, but actually even still has a few Texaco maps in it. Obviously, I'm guessing this is probably a 60s era piece, probably mid to late 60s. Obviously, we know they were Texaco up into the early 70s, but this is a metal wire rack, map rack. This is a metal painted plate on here. Well, obviously it was meant to hang and hold the maps. That's right, there we go, gearhead nerds. That's the way Ironhead put it. We're gearhead nerds. That sounds better, right? So really excited to finally add a Texaco Touring Service map rack to our collection. We've been big Texaco collectors. My daughter was a huge Texaco fan. So that was one piece that we've been after for a long time. Kevin, those